Hi guys, so back with another video. So let's get into it. They say to us the diagram below shows a cup with a volume of 117 pi cubic centimeters and an inner diameter of 60. Now you should have a red flag going on here, right? Because you're going to say, but they said it's in centimeters cubed, but they've given me my diameter in millimeters. So I need to convert everything to one measurement. And in this case, it's easier to convert it to centimeters, which means that if my diameter is 6 centimeters, my radius is 3. Whenever you have a circle, just always write down your radius because we preferably do not work with diameter in our formulas. Okay, they then say that we need to ignore the thickness of the cup. Now, you're always going to be asked a volume question with a surface area question. And for surface area, remember, that's everything that you can touch. And with a cup, this top part doesn't exist because otherwise how do we get a liquid inside, right? So we know that when we do our surface area formula, we mustn't add two circles, only the circle that's on the bottom. Okay, not the one that's on top because it is hollow. All right, now let's get into it. So they say we need to calculate the height of the cup. Now, what you need to ask yourself is, what have I been given, right? So I've been given my volume, and I have a specific formula that always works for volume. I say my area of my base times my height. And my base is always the funniest shape, which is usually the triangle or the circle. Okay, so I have my volume is equal to the area of my base, and the base area formula is pi r squared for a circle. And I'm going to multiply that by my height, which is just a cursive h. Then I'm going to fill in my volume and all the other metrics that I have. So my volume is 117 pi. And I'm going to say it is equal to pi. And remember, it's my radius. It is 3 squared. Please don't say 30 because 30 is millimeters. We are dealing with centimeters. All right. Multiplied by my height. Now that height is what I need to leave alone. So I'm going to take everything else to the other side. And lucky for us, it's just pure multiplication. So now when I take it over, it's just pure division is equal to my height. So if I now put this into my calculator, I should land up with this answer of 13 equals my height. But you have to be very careful, right? You have to make sure that you include your units. And they might tell you to leave it in millimeters or centimeters, so always just confirm. But because we're doing everything in centimeters, I'm just going to make my height centimeters, which means this is 13 centimeters. Great. So that's the first one explained. Let's quickly move on to number 2. They then say to us the total surface area of the water that touches the cup if the cup is 80% full. Okay, so what you have to realize is that your height is now only going to be 80% of that value, right? So our h of our new cup is this 13 times our 0.8. And if we put that into our calculator, we're going to get that it is 10.4. So that is our new height. But what we need to think of is that you're always going to have a bit of a rectangle situation and the circle for the base. And what is very important is that this length here wraps around that circle, right? Meaning that those two are the same in length, meaning that the circumference of the circle is that length. So that means this side would have been 2 pi r. That's its length. And the height of my shape is 10.4 centimeters as we've just calculated. All right, so let's get into surface area. So my total surface area is going to be that rectangle plus my circle. So for the rectangle, it's length times breadth, and my circle is pi r squared. This case, my length is 10.4. My base is that 2 pi r, which is going to be 2 pi multiplied by r. In this case, our r was that 3 centimeters. Okay, plus our pi 3 squared. Okay, if I put this all into my calculator, so you're going to say it's your 10.4 multiplied by your 2 multiplied by pi times by 3. You're going to get that it's 312 over 5 pi. And then you're going to add that with the pi times 9. And you're going to land up with 357 over 5 pi, which when we fix that is then going to be 224,31, and its surface area, so it's centimeters squared. Okay, so just make sure the one concept that you have to be very, very sure about is the one that I mentioned about the side length here is equal to the circumference of the circle, because that almost encases it wholeheartedly. If I had to draw the shape, you'd see that it goes all the way around. Okay, hopefully this makes sense. Please stay tuned for more videos.